Alright students, so let us begin with syntax 4. We have seen till syntax 3 until rule number 13. Now in syntax 4, we will begin with rule number 14. Here are two different questions and I must tell you, these two questions are the easiest one. You must answer these questions. This is a very simple rule, so you must answer. First question is, a lot of sugar was or were wasted. बहुत सारा चीनी बर्बाद हुआ. Now tell me, what should be put? Singular or plural verb? In the first question, the correct answer would be a singular one. Was. Now, the second question. A number of students was or were present. बहुत सारे विद्यार्थी मौजूद थे, उपस्थित थे. In the second question, the correct answer would be were. Now, why so? The reason is quite simple. Many of you must be knowing the reason also. Rule number 14 says that if the subject is a quantitative one, what is quantitative? Those subject which are mentioned in quantity, ऐसे subjects जिसे नापा या तौला जा सके. And here the subject is sugar, which is quantitative obviously. So for quantitative subject, the correct verb will always be singular. So the correct answer is was. Now come to second question. Rule number 14 also says that if the subject is numerical मतलब number वाला हो. If numbers are given, countable numbers are given, then in that case the verb will always be plural. So the correct answer I had put according to the rule were. So please note down the question first, then we'll move on to the rule. So students, I have mentioned the rule also on the board. Please note down the rule. See, if the subject is quantitative, जिसे नापा या तौला जा सके, then in that case the verb will be singular. Very simple. If the subject is numerical, जिसे गिना जा सके, और वो गिनने में क्या हो, plural हो, एक से अधिक हो, then in that case the verb will be plural. So please note down the rule. Moving on to the next rule, number 4. So students, now moving on to rule number 15. Now next two rules, that is number 15 and number 16. These two rules are some sort of exception. From very beginning, I have been teaching you that our verb always depends on the subject. This is the basic principle on which the whole chapter syntax works. But there are two exceptions, and these are the rules. Rule number 15 and rule number 16. These two rules are exceptions because in these two rules our verb do not depend on the subject. Here the subjects are there, here. Here the subjects are either here or there. So what should be the correct verb? In these cases our verb will not depend on the subject. Rule number 15 says if the subject is here or there. अगर here या there आपके subjects हैं, then in that case your verb will not depend on the subject. In these cases your verb will not depend on here or there. So on whom these verbs will depend then? In these cases, if the subject is here and there, in these cases our verb will depend on the present noun or pronoun. उस दिए गए सेंटेंस में जो भी नाउन या प्रोनाउन होगा, on that noun and pronoun your verb will depend. So now let us check what is the present noun in first question. The first question is there is or are several people. So in question number 1 the noun is people, which is plural. So your verb will depend on the noun people, which is plural. So answer would be are. In the second question the noun is dam, which is singular. That's why your answer would be singular. So your there can take both the verb. Either it can take singular or it can take plural. But it basically depends on the present noun or pronoun. Same goes with here also. If the subject is here, then your verb will not depend on here, rather on the present noun or pronoun. So in question number 3, the present noun is cows, which is plural. So here we'll take are. In the fourth question, the noun is view, which is singular and uncountable also. Then your now verb will be singular. So here and there can take both the verbs, and it depends on the present noun or pronoun. Alright students, so please note down the questions we'll move on to the rule now. So students, usually these are two different rules, but I have merged rule number 15 with rule number 16 because both the rules says the same thing. So I'm saving your time, students. So now let us see rule number 16 in rule number 15 itself, because the rule is same. The rule is same. See, now do you know what is fraction and percentage? Obviously, you must be knowing that. In mathematics, you must have learned about fraction and percentage. See, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 3 by 4, all these are fraction. Half is what? That's a fraction. Very right. 50% is what? That's a percentage. So you can easily identify fraction and percentage. See, if the subjects are percentage or fraction, if the subjects are percentage or fraction, same thing as we have saw in the cases of here and there. If the subjects are percentage and fraction, then in this case also your verb will not depend on the subject. Rather, it will depend on the present noun or pronoun, students. So read out the full sentence. In this full sentence, you find mangoes as the correct noun, which is plural. Hence, our answer will also be plural. Our verb will also be plural. Now, come to the second question. Here in this question, question number 2, it's a percentage, and when the subject is percentage, then also same thing. Your verb will not depend on the percentage, rather on the present noun or pronoun. In the second question, the correct noun is student, which is singular. That's why your verb will also be singular. So the correct answer is has. So students, rule number 15 and 16 both are same. So I have merged them. मैंने दोनों को मिलाकर एक कर दिया है क्योंकि दोनों एक ही बातें कहती है. ठीक है student? So in these two rules, that's the same. In these two rules speaks about the same thing, that your verb depends on the present noun or pronoun, rather on this subject. It doesn't depend on the subject. Rather, these two rules are exception. Rather, it depends on present noun or pronoun. It doesn't depend on the subject. Alright students, so please note down the question. I'll mention the rule after this. So students, I have mentioned the rule on the board. So please note down this rule, students, in your book, in your notebook with the help of your pen and pencil. The rule says, once again I am repeating it, if the subjects are here, there, percentage or fraction. अगर आपका subject here है, there है, percentage है या फिर fraction है, तो आपका वर्ब सब्जेक्ट पे डिपेंड नहीं करेगा. आपका वर्ब इन पे डिपेंड नहीं करेगा. किस पे डिपेंड करेगा? इट विल डिपेंड ऑन उस सेंटेंस में मौजूद नाउन और प्रोनाउन पे डिपेंड करेगा. रादर इट विल डिपेंड ऑन द प्रेजेंट नाउन और प्रोनाउन. ऑलराइट स्टूडेंट्स, सो प्लीज नोट डाउन द लास्ट रूल ऑफ सिंटैक्स. विद दिस आई एंड द चैप्टर. See you in the next chapter, students, and we will keep discussing the questions, the asked question in different competitive examinations, the asked question which are important for your examinations. We'll keep on discussing more and more questions in some other time. All right, students, and see you in the next class, students, in the next chapter, I mean to say. Thank you.